Live.
You had mentioned the wig, and I forgot about the wig.
What wig? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. You know, I
looked
can't
away
tell
for
if you're like
5
memeing or if you're like under like witness protection right now.
What
I
are
looked
you
away
guys?
for 5 minutes. I want to
I'm not
know like
elder.
what hair gel you're using, because that worked fast.
Hello and welcome to Griefers Pub. Tonight, we're going to be discussing how 3.24 significantly impacts piracy with our special guest, JackAxton. Welcome, Jack. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing excellent. Thank you for having me. I am tickled to be here. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing great.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep a straight face the entire night. You can wear it. Just wear it. So,
Just so you guys know,
Yep.
they had no idea that I was. So in setting up, I didn't even have this on. I mean, I had my hair pulled back so they couldn't see it. I just put the glasses on.
It was really
back
pulled
for
back.
what?
You're not getting no more glow. Oh damn! Did I just lose? I just blew out my.
Wait a second. Why? Wait a second. Why was her pulled back? What were you doing behind the stage? I can ask.
Well, it's talking to the Twitch and CIG, and just
Italian
making
spy.
sure, yeah, just trying to like get the streamer privilege, All right. Anyway,
So
Hey, streamer privilege is real.
Yeah, to some extent, yes. Okay, not the topic. We'll save that for next week when we have Spur on. But this time we're going to talk about you, Jack. In case somehow people don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do in the verse. What's your like go-to gameplay loop? What do you like to do?
All right, so I like to move boxes by buying boxes in one location and selling them for a little bit more in another location. Pretty much trade all the time. And I've made a little bit of a name for it, usually avoiding people and figuring out how to make money when trade sucks. And trade has sucked for a long, long time.
What sucks about it?
Well, okay, so back in the day when I first got started, you had to risk 1 million credits to make a 50K payout, which, profit margins like that aren't exactly that great, and they've gotten better. But we have had to claw, whine, beg, and God forbid make Spectrum posts to get it there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is everything okay? Like, I know that's it's kind of a dark place. So
well, I've been on Spectrum, so what do you think? But no, it's gotten better, but man, it could go a long way. And all of us traders have been waiting for 324 to make trade better, because the trade commodity rebalance was slated for 324, and we're still kind of waiting. So that's me.
Still on the? Is that still planned?
Off the patch notes,
or
so nobody knows.
I don't remember if that was taken off the patch notes, wasn't it? Or is it still on there?
Yeah, no, they took it off. They said that it's supposed to still be coming, but they also said
maybe with like a later like 0.1 or 0.2 patch or something like that, or 3.25, or maybe 4.0 in 2026.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I don't know. So
you're probably right. You're probably right.
So how often do you run into risks while you're hauling? Just curious.
Honestly, not enough. Okay, I run solo a lot, which is dumb, but is doable.
Hold on. You don't run into risks enough?
Yeah, no,
really?
Okay, so
hold on, can I just wait? Because according to Spectrum, it's a huge problem. Not enough.
Let me tell you about my average run on a day, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'll start up and I'm like, you know what? Let's do some barrel. That's safe. And I go, no, screw it. I want to get an 890. Let's go do some RMC. And RMC is jump town these days. Like it is literally jump town, but it actually works all the time. And CIG hasn't messed with it yet, so it's still fun. And I will do multiple runs a day, 5 days a week, and I might meet one person a week, maybe. And when you run solo, there's always a chance, someone on the ground shooting you, someone in the air. And I fly a Caterpillar. It's not exactly the fastest thing in the sky. And yet, usually when I meet somebody, they're either one, not good, or two, don't engage. Like, I have lost, I think, 2 million credits total, cumulative, on the RMC run. And that is supposed to be the hottest pirate run out there.
Let me tell you, it actually is. I'm surprised, just given how many times I've run into players, and that's as like someone that is usually going onto the ground and doing exactly what you were talking about. I
Yeah.
feel like I run into people all the time, and it's wild that you haven't.
Yeah, like I don't know if like I just smell or what, but like I want to run into people. At that point, it's like, do I even care about the money? No. Let's just see what happens. Like I got hit by one pirate group, and admittedly there were 21 of them. There was no way I was getting out of it. And we actually ended up having a fist fight for the cargo on top of the caterpillar in the middle of the air. And like, I still had to pay, but not nearly as much. Like I got to go with my cargo, so that was a fun interaction. But I need more stuff like that. Usually it's so
Yep.
sparse. I want to see more stuff happen. So yeah, I know a lot of people get hit. Maybe I'm just lonely or not popular or something. But yeah, no, I just don't get it enough.
I'm surprised by that. I do recall like a video. Do you remember the gold rush back in, I think it was like later 318 days?
Yes.
And all of those.
Yeah, I got hit there more than anywhere else. Like RMC was so much less than the gold hits, and that has an armistice zone.
Yep. How exactly did that pan out? I remember watching, I think it was Greasy Khaleesi. We were just talking about this a second ago. Was kind of doing like a reaction video, and it was you and a lone cat. I think it was a Cuddy Blue and maybe something else. I forget what it was.
Yes. There's actually a few incidences there, I think, that Greasy covered. One was a cutlass that I led into the trees. The other one was a cutlass that I freight trained through with the caterpillar, because the caterpillar is so hard to stop. The brakes are so weak.
That's pretty badass, actually.
I don't think I can do this. I'm like so distracted by the character of whatever the hell this is. I can't focus.
You could do is just take off the glasses, and then we can actually see like you looking around. And I mean, it's up to you. So my question is, what are I kind of have like a rough idea of like what you're thinking, but what are your like personal thoughts about like PvP and piracy as a cargo hauler? You said it doesn't happen enough, or what other like things do you think?
I mean, like I said, I've only got my anecdotal evidence, but I feel like it should happen. I'm all for it because, one, I enjoy it. Now, that's just my personal opinion.
What kind of people do you play with, though? Do you I mean, you play with people with similar like that? Do you enjoy doing that as well?
Elder.
He plays solo.
No, not all the time. Like I do play with people. Like
yeah, obviously he's not always solo. Like it's hard to even play the game completely solo.
Yeah,
but so when you excuse me.
No, you're good. You're good.
When you
rock it while you can.
Yeah. What do you mean? Well, I can. I always can. I don't have any problems with thinning male pattern baldness or anything. Anyway, so when you do play with people, though, like what's generally the type of person that you would play with? Like, are they people playing like similar styles, being like
all sides?
Oh, really?
All
okay.
sides. Yeah.
Now, what's what's the consensus of those that are doing some running like that? Like, is it like they completely condemn it? Do those people aren't they very fond of you because of this opinion?
I mean, so it depends on the person, because there's a few people that I play with, like, they want to make money, they want to do trading, but they want it to be nice, calm, A to B, and if no shots are fired, great, which is fine. Sometimes it's nice to just kick back and play Space Trucker. Others who are into trading would rather take the A2 and flatten the area before we land just to be safe. And of course, like, there's a few people that I pirate with as well.
Yeah.
For fun, because it's fun to do. It's fun to learn all sides. You can learn a lot about trucking from pirating and vice versa. And,
that's good. That's a really good point. I mean, like, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, like the best pirates I know are in spreadsheets. Because you got to know where to go to yo ho ho.
Okay, so you definitely don't feel that this is like it should be a PvP slider or like
No.
what Elite Dangerous does where you can play on like private mode, like you know what I mean,
Yeah,
solo
like
mode.
you should have the option of going between nice neighborhoods and making a little profit, or
Yeah.
risking the biscuit and making a huge profit, but you might get shot. Like I feel like that should be all in the same ecosystem.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fair way to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, I feel like, and again, like we've talked about it. I remember Virgil was talking about it, how there should be systems. I think River was talking about it also, where there should be systems that are just like super high risk, but the reward is there.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Yeah.
And like we
Or
have
you,
basic systems for that.
yeah, or you could grind and with a very low reward, but it's like super safe, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that would create interest, right? And they were talking about it earlier. I forget who was talking about, but it was in our Discord, in our private section of our Discord, talking about how Chris Robinson even said that he wants the NPCs and players to be like, you won't be able to tell the difference,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
So in
generally
that
look at
case,
a table, but
yeah, in that case, the only way you can make the game where it's like super safe for them is if there just isn't any risk. Like they just remove risk all around.
and you know, people enjoy that gameplay, and I don't want to take it away from them, but I just feel like it should be in the same ecosystem. Like there's no reason for a pirate to go jack somebody's aluminum unless they're just really wanting to ruin that guy's day in particular. Like there's no profit in it. There should be the option, but there should be no or very little gain as to why, unless you just, like I said, really hate that person.
Yeah.
And at that
Yeah,
point,
I get what you're
Like
saying.
running
Yeah.
around. I see, JackAxton in his cutter with like 4 SCU of aluminum, and I'm just gonna fly in, take him out there, right?
yeah,
Well, I think
yeah.
I think that the other thing too is that if
I mean, salt can be profit.
so, yeah, I think the other
Sometimes,
problem that we have here, to be fair, right? I think the other problem that's happening here is that there's no for example with what the heck is this event called right now? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. The one that's
Blockade
happening.
Runner.
Blockade Runner, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going out. First of all, it's PTU. There's no point in making money, period, right? It's PTU.
Yeah.
It's like a wipe every day except on the weekend, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But so
Actually,
but
yeah, the patch today, so wipe on the weekend.
yeah, there's even a wipe in the weekend. That's crazy. The graveyard shift or something. But so yeah, but we're going there because we got nothing better to do, right? Now let's say the PU is more developed, and there's actual need for like materials for your base building and stuff like this. Now the PvPers are gonna be more focused on those that are supplying specifically other bases that we want to attack or we want to cut off their supply chain. You know what I mean? And that would actually help remedy a lot of this, on top of the fact that there will be like high risk, high reward systems. And I feel like Dad's got this like smirk, and it has to do with the way I look
No,
right
I'm
now.
sorry. I got very distracted.
Okay.
I was looking at the two guys in the middle in the bar, and I just realized the middle one's Contagion for some reason. That was.
Oh yeah, that is Contagion. He's
I
got that
thought process.
badass armor on.
Yeah. Sorry, very distracted tonight. So just bear with me.
I totally understand. I don't know. Everyone loves my beautiful hair. Hey, you know
It's
what?
lustrous.
I
It's shiny.
I started
Like,
using a new shit. It's just new stuff. I saw it on Amazon,
It's
and
Keeps.
yeah,
Keeps.
it was
Like,
Keeps.
I
Yeah.
mean, if you've got the link, like if you've got a affiliate link, let us know.
All right. I'll
I think-
certainly be
I
sure
think-
to link it.
You guys are cool. We're going to move on to the next subject, which is talking about 3.24.
I thought this was the
What do
next
you guys-
subject. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is no. We're moving away from the hair because I know you're happy about it. It looks good, but
I'm not taking it off. It's not happening. I don't even want to take
I'm
the
not worried
glasses
about
off.
that. That's fine. Just leave it. It's fine. What do you guys think will be some of the pros and cons of 3.24's manual loading systems?
Cool.
Oh, pros.
That's a loaded question. I know. This is
What's
why
the
I like
pros?
gave
I
you a
wanna know
whole
what the
list
pros
just in
are.
case. I've got a few that I can kind of start off with. This is
Immersion.
from more of a like pirate standpoint. I like that it brings in like an extended time frame to discover targets, whereas
That is
before
one, yeah.
it is very difficult to just like fly from like both. An example would be like, say, rappel and pickers, trying to like snipe somebody and not be able to find them because it takes a matter of like seconds to go to that terminal, get something, and then fly out of there without like any like issues.
Yeah, like
I also
average
like that
time
it,
on the ground is 3
yeah.
minutes.
3 minutes is
And
very accurate. Yep. If they're once they're out of the seat, I've found that it's about like 1.5 to 2 minutes. I've timed this because I've done it a lot. So you just like sneak in and then
for reasons.
interdict for reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also really like that it requires players to work with crew for less risk accession, or like what's the word? Like it's less of a risk if you have a turret gunner covering the air or someone in the pilot seat, whereas before everybody would have to get out of the seat and made no sense that you had nobody holding down the location, right?
Like, that's been a bug for years, and they introduced it arbitrarily. And I begged, asking them to fix it, and it lasted for over a year. And finally, it doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, like it's so nice that you can actually have turret coverage while loading up now.
Yeah. It's also an opportunity to capture high value illegal cargo at sell points. That's the biggest one for me. I remember going over to Brios a handful of times, finding someone on the ground, and by the time I'm actually there is no like cargo back in the ship because the guy has already sold with one click all of his cargo.
Oh yeah,
you open fire. Like all they have to do is make it to the terminal.
Are you? Oh, hold on. Can I? So you ask what the pros and cons are from whose perspective? We should be specific about that.
Whether,
because
okay, so for
you, it's a pro that it's not like an immediate click, right?
Exactly. So I want to say from a pirate's perspective, we'll start there, and then we'll switch over to the cargo hauler's perspective. That was maybe something I should have said.
Well, we could just keep it from one perspective and just assume the opposite is true for the opposite side.
That's fair.
Right? I mean, it's true. So it's a pro that now it's not one click, boom, you get your cargo, you're out. Like I can picture Dead's gonna be loving this. I know he is, because I can picture him really just setting up and nestling like a nice little spot inside somebody's ship and just waiting patiently as a person loads it all up.
I can actually be in the ship while they're loading it up physically, piece by piece, and it won't take a lot of effort because a lot of people aren't very like aware of their surroundings.
No,
that situational awareness is never a thing,
That is true.
You could even like mess with them, right? Every time they load something up, the moment they go to grab another box, you move it around a little bit, and they're gonna think it's the server. They're gonna be like, "Oh, freaking! I swear I snapped this to grid." You can really have some fun with it.
Oh, regardless, you're still going to have to go to the pilot seat and unlock the ports before you can even do that as an outside like force. You still can't move it from the cargo grid.
You can still do that while they're loading, though.
Oh, it gets
while they're
locked.
loading. It gets locked as soon as it's on the grid, but if it's still on the bay of the like loading elevator, you still have that opportunity to grab stuff as it's coming up. But as soon as it's on the ship, nope, not an option.
Hey, this is a good question. Oh, you already got it. As a trader, what are you looking forward to more, AI Crew or Star Sim? The old Quantanium.
Ooh. I mean, we've been waiting for that since 2019, 2020. I'm gonna be honest. Probably Star Sim, probably the old quantum system. Mostly because I don't trust AI Crew to be competent enough to perform things within context.
That's a fair thing to say. Okay,
like,
but let's assume. Wait, hold on. Let's assume that the AI Crew would be able to, like, they got it working appropriately. Would you still say that your answer still remains the same?
They're just going to do this on the seats of the loading bay.
I'm going to say the same because, like, I want an economy that is complicated enough that I don't understand it. Like. Yeah. That's what I want. I want something that I can participate in instead of just knowing.
Yeah, economy, I think, would mean more to all of us, honestly.
Yeah,
both sides.
Because, like, if I can rant about something right quick.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so there's this little indie game called Pulsar Lost Colony. It's a 5-man co-op game, but if you don't have friends, you can use AI. You can individually program each individual priority that the AI can do on this ship. They have spent years developing this game. That AI is leaps ahead versus anything Star Citizen has, and I still don't trust it when it comes to like the context of whatever I'm doing in the game. It's like I need the pilot to do this thing. Well, maybe he should take cover behind this asteroid because the type of fire coming in. I can't tell him that. How in the world am I going to tell that to a game that struggles with a bartender?
What do you mean?
Pours the glass of like
Yeah.
whiskey, and the whiskey like 2 seconds later actually pours into the glass as he
Yeah,
puts
and,
down
like,
the glass. Yeah,
if the bartender works.
yeah,
Like
that's
you're
true.
telling me
Very true.
that guy is going to know to switch shields to a particular type or to turn off things because an EM pulse is coming in? That guy? So yeah, I'm gonna definitely go quantum.
Yep.
Because I trust numbers changing randomly more than I trust the AI.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fair.
Okay. Fair.
It was I think economy is the one thing, or like it's one of many things, obviously, but I think it's the biggest thing, in my opinion, that the game is really lacking right now is a drive and a force for players to go
Yes.
from like point A to point B in the first place.
Lack
When
of.
they first announced,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, you already interrupted.
I was just gonna
so
say
it's your-
lack of depth is the biggest reason why I'm having trouble staying interested in playing. You know what I mean? Lack of depth, and they
Yep.
keep removing it. But what were you gonna say? I'm curious.
I was
Oh,
going to say
okay.
when they first announced that, like during 3.23 and 2.4, that there was not going to be any wipe, that immediately like my stomach like dropped, and I was just like, oh man, well, there
Yeah.
goes any like motivation to pop into the verse and fly with master modes, because as I'm just a part-time pilot. You full-time, I don't know how you guys do it. It's rough, and I know the topic
We
isn't
don't.
master modes. We can move on from that, but it's
Don't do it.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, it's gotten to a point where it's like I'm going through all the major discords that used to be always be active, and
Yep.
I just I can't help. I'm always curious, and I'm going through the discords, and I'm looking at the little preview window for when they're streaming, and it's never Star Citizen anymore. It's just never
It's
Star
some
Citizen.
other game.
Yeah, it's like, and any of the people that used to primarily stream Star Citizen and they would do like AC fighting, then they're streaming other games. They're not getting involved in the game. So how do we do it? We don't. I mean, there's only so much to do with the piloting, the depth of the game. It's just, I mean, I've been playing Elite Dangerous
Yeah.
Wow.
because
And
of because of the depth, and I'm enjoying it because I remember I'm going into it, I'm like, oh my god, like I forgot how robust this like the shipbuilding system is in this. Grief for one knows. Yeah, dude.
he
And
knows, he knows.
No, the modularity is nice.
it's amazing. It's like this, I'm enjoying it. Like I spent like 2 hours early in the morning this morning just going through my components and seeing what I need to and what I can mess with, and like we don't get any of that,
No. Like you can go mining in a dolphin in Elite Dangerous. You want to go mining in a cutlass, you better have a rock.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the modular, and it's amazing. Like, so I would love to see more of that in Star Citizen. And one of the things that Star Citizen definitely had was how high the skill ceiling is, and it's not there now. So, but anyway, I digress.
It's fine. I think Elite's a really good example of a very complicated and
I thought I'd never be
established.
saying that too, though.
Um,
I left Elite
not-
to play Star Citizen full time, and I thought I'd
I know.
never look back. But anyway.
Yep. So have you guys actually played 3.24 with the? Have you tried the systems with manual loading or any of the new game mechanics behind that? Just kind of curious, Jack, if you've had a chance.
Could repeat the last 10 seconds. Sorry, I had a bit of a
No, it's okay.
disconnect there.
So have you had a chance to pop into 3.24 to test out some of the new like manual loading mechanics and how that works with the lifts and everything?
Yes. All right. So because I have no life, I actually got to master rank in the hauling rep, which took a very long time because 90% of the time that don't work. And I've done a bit of trading too. So yeah, I've done a lot of testing with the freight elevators, with the loading, the unloading. lot of stuff. What was the original question?
It is really cool. Go ahead. What was the original question again? Dead.
We're just
The original question is, have you had a chance to do the manual loading? Does it feel like too much of a time sink given like everything that's added to the whole process now? Or do you enjoy it?
I enjoy it, but there are needless time sinks with it. And it really has to do with ship design
It's
than
needless
anything
time
else.
sinks.
Yeah, because like,
Yeah.
okay, so most of the ship boxes are like 16 SCU, 8 SCU, whatever.
Yep.
A lot of the ships that we have this cargo grid where it's like, yeah, you can stack like, 8 SCU boxes, and then there'll be like a grid of 2 SCU boxes on the top of it. Or like,
Mhm.
1 SCU extra high. So it's like, if you want to get maximum cargo, you have to double the amount of time you spend loading for not an extra amount of SCU. Like if you look at the Caterpillar, each Caterpillar module takes 4 24 SCU boxes when it works. Right now it's bugged.
Yep.
So it's 4 boxes each module, really quick. But then along the side, you can load like 16 2 SCU boxes. So it's like, all right, I spent the time loading 4 boxes in this module. Now I have to spend the exact same time 4 times over to load a minimal amount of cargo. So it's just
Okay.
really bad cargo design on a lot of ships.
So, okay, but I'm sure we all agree, like, it is cool. But was all of this, I mean, as far as like, at least the way you pull out your ship and like the cargo elevator, it's a cool concept.
No,
but
it's
like,
a great concept.
Doesn't it feel like they're sacrificing like substance as far as stability goes for the sake of like this cool factor, but not adding any real gameplay?
I mean,
I
yeah,
would
like
yeah, go for it. Sorry, my bad, Jack. Go for it.
like Star Citizen as a game does not respect your time at all.
Yeah,
And
That's what I was going to say. Yep.
to say the
yeah, like it
least.
just does not
Yep.
respect your time, which I think is a very cruel irony when you look at the average age demographic of people playing Star Citizen.
True talk.
But,
because they don't
People
have the
that-
time, right?
People that
Yeah,
are
they don't have the
limited in
time.
time to begin with, yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I want to come home
And-
from work to freaking spend, an extra hour just prepping or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
it-
let me
not
get off my
actually
job at the
playing.
Amazon warehouse to load
go-
boxes.
To go do
in-
almost warehouse work. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm going to spend 45 minutes loading and unloading my Caterpillar. And I don't get paid for it half the time, especially not in real money. But yeah, like that's the thing. It's a fun option. I feel like it should be an option. Because like right now, if you want to buy cargo, like if you want to do trade at an outpost, you have to manually load it. You cannot auto load. There are like 3 places that you can auto load cargo right now. So it is a required thing to participate in 90% of the economy.
Yep.
So,
So here,
no, I'm sorry.
let's hear it.
So speaking on which, where you have to manually load at an outpost, they intend on removing the hard lock from armistice zones in making it where armistice is like high risk to do something. You see what I'm saying? So how
Yeah.
do you see that affecting those situations in the future, even if they do have these like systems in place in game where it's like there's a risk? Like, it sounds to me like well, first of all, it's going to be a risk anyway, because even if you're loading an armistice, it gives plenty of time for somebody like Dead to get on your ship.
Exactly. Like I
That
think
brings up a really good question that I had after this. So, what did you think, though?
it would be better for traders if we get rid of armistice. However, more traders are going to suffer because let's say I rock up.
Wait,
I've
why
got
would it be
cargo.
better?
Because I could shoot somebody taking my cargo.
Oh, okay. I see.
You can
The
That's
thing
a
defend
good
is,
point,
I mean,
yeah.
they can still shoot me, but it's like, okay, like say I'm unloading, I don't know, little Debbie's or whatever, snack cakes. Someone comes up and is stealing my 1 SCU of snack cakes. Like, right now it's like, oh no, there's nothing I can do about it. This jerk is stealing my snack cakes. With the armistice gone, I could shoot him. The problem is he can still shoot me. But if I show up with a bigger crew, or at least a more competent crew, which
Yep.
goes back to having friends and or escorts, at least I can protect it instead of them all standing around with their hands on their hips as he tractor beams my snack cakes.
Let's see. Yeah, good point.
But that's just an arms race essentially. So it would be better for traders overall because I have the option to defend my cargo. But be honest, 9 times out of 10, the trader's going to get shot first, and then all the snack cakes.
Yeah, I feel like the risk is definitely higher for the trader because what happens is the person is sneaking around. You don't know they're there. Like, it's going to really push more, I think, for team mechanics. Like, now traders, they need a crew, right? Somebody to watch them, like, get their back. Because otherwise, somebody's going to sneak on a ship, wait until you're done loading, shoot you, take off with the ship.
Yeah. And also, I have to look at the context, like within the legal system. If I'm unloading and someone's skulking around, it would be better for me just to shoot them. However, legally, can I?
You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, just because we've got everything pointing to this guy, like, he could draw a gun, or a tractor beam, God forbid, stealing my cargo. And until he actually does that, anything I do would be on me. So, like, how are they going to get the legal system? Like, am I going to have to request clearance so that no one else can be on the pad for a limited amount of time? Is that?
I was going to say that might be the only way to do it. And, if anybody goes onto the pad, it's an instant, like, trespassing area. But it's the same issue where people are just going to cheese that, like, fine line.
Yeah, like, there's always a way to cheese.
Right,
like,
of course.
there's always
just like with the personal hangers, they had to take out the entire, like...
My God, yeah, the 30-second rule.
30-second rule is not there anymore because people figured it out way too quick and there was too many complaints, so they just removed it entirely. I do foresee personally that there is going to be a huge debacle with armistice zones being a problem with this new system. Just like we had with the Gold Rush back in 3.18, we're going to see the same thing repeated, but it's just going to look a little different this time around. Whether it be like ramming or sending elevators back down. I don't know if they fixed that, so I don't know about that one. If they did patch that, that'd be really nice.
They fixed it where you can't just hit the button.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, I'm the one who actually discovered that one.
Did you? Nice.
Yes. I actually made the IC report for that one. Yeah, so you can't send it down, but you can still grab cargo off of it. So you can't steal someone's entire manifest with a push of a button.
Yeah.
But you can still tractor beam it all.
Right, which maybe they should have some sort of system where it is acting almost like a cargo grid, so only the person that actually purchased that cargo is able to transfer it from point A to point B.
That's a beautiful
I don't know if
idea.
that's a solution, but that might work as a temporary fix. Again, I'm with you. No armistice is the route, though. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just want to throw out a couple of things, a few shout outs. Thank you, Carl and Griefer, for the Prime subs. Also the follows, Intrivis, am I saying that? Intrivs? Oh, Intrivs, Lexiter, I can't say. You know what? I'm not doing shout outs anymore. But I was going to throw it out there. Yeah. But I was going to throw it out there, guys. If you want to jump into a call, to join us on stream, jump into the Discord. I just linked the Discord, and then go into the waiting room and we can pull you in and give you about 5 minutes to be able to speak. So if you guys have some comments or something, please jump on to the to stream. We definitely appreciate it. Dead's AC is running, so he's good. You know what I mean? He's good.
We can go as long as you guys want tonight. It is not an issue. There was actually a question I don't want to miss from Griefer One. He asked, would you rather see CIG focus on fixing current game mechanics such as server health or continue to add new content?
Wait, who asked that?
Wow,
that was Griefer One that asked that one. I'm in the boat that we need a stable game and server health before anything new.
Can we set up a vote for that? Because I bet you most want that. How do we set up the vote for that?
I'll do that while you talk about something else.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I'm willing to bet most people are going to be looking for stability, right? Where's the question? I don't see it.
Definitely stability.
Would you rather see CIG focus on fixing current game mechanics such as server health or continue to add new content? Yeah, server health. I definitely say,
like,
right? Yeah.
I mean, the game already struggles where it is, and then they add something else, and like, okay, the hauling missions when they first came in,
Yep.
half the time you couldn't complete them because of server issues.
Yeah.
And oh my god,
I mean,
Are we talking about the basic
let's
box
be honest. I
missions
mean,
or something else? Or are we talking about basic box missions or just like in general?
like in general, like the new hauling missions for 324, basic
Mhm.
box missions, you'll have like 6 boxes. You take forever to deliver. The last box does not complete. You get no payment. You spent 2 hours doing it, and that has been an issue for years now. Like there is basic newbie gameplay that is in the most unrefined, unpolished state, and not everybody is a masochist and can stand this game as much as the way we play.
Yeah.
And that's not on them, that's on the game.
I
Like,
mean, but
you
let's be
pretty much
real. I mean, if the game was stable, the game is already cooler than any game you could play for a space game, right? I mean, for the most part, but the game's not stable, and I think that's where a lot of people are just like. Are we still on that topic? Sorry, the ADHD.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, you're
Just
good.
no,
Yeah.
no. It's valid because we're talking about like cargo hauling. We're talking about boxes.
Mm.
It
It's
makes
like-
sense. A lot of those missions were, I think, those are some of the earliest ones in the game, and because of that, it's using old code. There was a whole episode about this, I think, with Inside Star Citizen or Star Citizen Live, where they were talking about how when someone new comes in, it's their code. It's not necessarily all consistent, and that's kind of the issue. We're using a lot of like old
Yeah.
spaghetti code essentially at that point, right?
Oh,
I'm a
no.
fan of spaghetti, but like on a plate, not
There's no spaghetti code. No,
Yeah.
no, that's certainly not.
every code is spaghetti code. No one wants to admit it, but every code is spaghetti code.
Just because it's like a slap in the face to the people coding it, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not trying to
I don't
like
care
get
how
us off
good your
track. though.
code is. It's just
Yep.
it's always spaghetti code. It is
I
held
do-
together
sounded
with
like
duct
you-
tape and wish.
It sounded like you had a thought before, like interrupted there. So why don't you go ahead and pop in and tell me what you were like? kind of
Oh,
on
I
about
was
first.
I was just gonna say that you pretty much have to wear a cod piece to log into this game because it is just a ball kicker simulator. More often than
Pretty
not.
much. Yep.
There is another
masochism.
question by Z. As a trader, what is your propensity to want to hire PvPers for missions? A tag along question. What would make it more viable for you to do that? More money per mission or difficulty? So I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
the first question is, would you have the propensity to hire PvPers for a mission, first of all?
100%. Actively do it sometimes when I can. Like I've got a lot of friends that do more PvP than I do, and it's like if I have one person with me, that is a force multiplier, and I can go risk whatever I want to for trade.
Mhm.
Okay.
Actually, example, I've got this person I play with, Syneth. She usually escorts at an A2 because, like I said, flatten the ground just to be safe. No one can sneak on your ship if no one is alive. And
Yeah.
the amount of kills that she has done over every single RMC location I've ever been to, whether they were, after the cargo or not, I can't attest to that. But yeah, no, just being able to hire someone who, one, knows what they're doing, two, is willing to pull the trigger on someone that I might not.
Yeah.
Because, I'm like, oh, that might just be a trader. I might not pull the trigger, and then bam, serves me right. But yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, but okay.
You wanna shoot somebody for money or just tag along for money? I will pay you money.
But do you feel that other cargo hauler types feel the same way? Because the impression I get, I'll say this, and I'm sure other people get that impression, is that they feel so, a lot of them, right, will feel so like put off by our evil ways that they feel that they won't even work with us because it's only further, I don't know, supporting us or something. Like, do you
Enabling, yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
do you feel that
Mhm.
that might be the consensus, or is it a
Oh, it
split
is.
thing? Oh, it is.
Like-
Jeez.
Like there's a lot of people out there that, it's like, oh, damn dirty pirates. I'm gonna go down with the ship instead of ever giving them a single credit. And it's like, okay.
I mean, we
yeah,
can be their
that's-
friend. I mean, realistically, it's
Yeah,
like we're all human beings,
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I get that you don't want to be friendly to the guy stabbing you. Like that's fair.
At
so
least
funny.
it's someone
But-
that's stabbing you in the front rather than in the back. That's all I
Yeah.
gotta say. You know.
Yeah, I appreciate
Typically.
that. Like when I get pirated, like the rare time that it happens, I'm excited. It is
Mhm.
fun. Like there's negotiation. The you know, like I am I am so good with that. But I know a lot of people aren't because the thing is, a lot of people want to be left alone. That's all they want is to be left alone. And
Yep.
even if they have a way out of a situation without losing their cargo or just non-violently, they have still been disturbed. And a lot of people can't shift gears to deal with that situation in a calm or reasonable manner. I say, relative, because I mean, again, technically, I guess they're being mugged, but yeah, it's just there's a lot of people that just want to be left alone and will do anything they can to achieve that, or Alt F4, take their ball and go home.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't think one way for them to get left alone is to have like good protection? I mean, realistically.
You would think that, yeah, but like the thing about
And-
having good protection is communication, and
Yeah.
communication requires you to
Communicate
associate with
you
other
hate.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, for a certain amount of time.
Pretty
And like
much, yeah.
even if you're hiring people, or just coming across a pirate, sometimes they just want to sit there alone
Yeah,
and be
yeah.
by themselves. And I get
Imagine associating with the people you hate and realizing that they're actually decent human beings, and then you accidentally start actually liking them. Like, imagine that.
And
happening.
then
Oh,
suddenly
man,
you're
that'd be
part of the
terrible.
org. You know.
Like,
it's
you know how
just
many
like,
people
oh, hey.
I've made friends with who shot me?
Yeah,
Like-
I mean,
Like-
jeez, it's crazy. I don't think CIG will buckle under the pressure of Spectrum complaints and all that. But at this point, I feel like anything could happen.
Maybe,
I
don't
don't
know.
feel like people on Spectrum actually play the game. I've seen maybe 3 of those names in game,
It's a good point.
but
He's not wrong. Can I ask actually a question before we move on to maybe talking about certain posts from Spectrum regarding a certain
yeah,
event?
yeah.
So this is a question for you, Jack. Do you think you'll see, or like, what kind of new methods do you predict pirates will rely on to target haulers with the changes? I know we kind of brought this up a little bit. Do you have like any personal predictions as like a cargo hauler of what to expect?
I've got a few. I've also got a few predictions of what haulers are going to do to avoid pirates and borders. But I feel like there's going to be a lot more people hanging around on the ground at outposts, out of ships, waiting for people to come by.
Yeah.
Going to be a lot more pad rats is what we used to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Someone
Yep.
to sneak on. Because it's a lot easier now. It's a heck of a lot easier because it's not like, oh, I get up for 3 minutes to go grab a drink and they're already gone. Now it's the ship has to
Yeah.
stay open for 20 minutes while they load,
Yeah.
and it gives you some
Do you think
terrible
any certain
things to
ships
do.
might have like a better advantage over others? I know like the Taurus has its own like tractor beam inside of the actual what do you call it? The
Caterpillar.
actual ship itself, you know? Or like the Raft has its own tractor in the back. The
Yeah.
Nomad actually might be a good one, like you said. Yeah.
The Nomad is like, I know it only holds 24 SCU.
Yep.
But the Nomad is stupid good for loading. Like you can load it from the inside. Like
Yep.
as soon as the cargo comes up, you don't have to leave. And not to mention, since it uses a ladder, they can't follow you inside. Like with the Taurus, they can stand on the pad or the lift and
Yep.
just wait you out. Because the thing in
Mhm.
between traders and pirates, and I'm going to also just throw in the people that like to mess with traders, the griefers out there. It's always a waiting game of patience, and pirates and griefers have way more patience than traders. Because anything you do generates salt, which is profit. For traders,
To some degree, yeah.
the minimum time that it takes to trade is more money. So anything that slows us
Yeah.
down is going to get under our skin, and then we
Yeah.
get desperate and do dumb things.
Yeah. I mean, so
But,
realistically, there's definitely I feel there's definitely gonna have to be some collaboration with PvP types And what's going to happen is, because that's the only way it's going to be efficient, right? But that's going to cost money. But what's going to happen is when there's an actual economy or working economy, is it's going to drive up prices and stuff like that. I think.
Yeah,
If it works appropriately, you know, like supply
like
and
one of the
demand.
other issues too. Like, okay, let's say I want to pay for an escort. If an escort is actually looking to make money, they're gonna go make way more just doing bounties. Especially right now, because it's like, hey, you have to wait a lot longer for me to load this up. Like, the amount that you're making and I am making, profit wise, ain't that great, unless it is like the one RMC run out there. I will say though, to go back to like one of the most secure ships, Caterpillar, you basically have to aerial board that thing as a pirate if it's landed, because
I
the
mean,
lift
you
gates
already
still don't
have
work.
the option of, like, say, dragonflies to fly into that ship if you really wanted to. So
Yeah,
it's
now
not like foolproof, but it gives you an opportunity to see what they're doing before you actually load it, right?
yeah, and like half the time a dragonfly explodes once you get it off the pad. So like it's its own best defense.
You got me there.
I love how
Yeah.
There
like
is a question.
I'm sorry. I was just
Oh
gonna say
wait,
I
never
love
mind.
how
That one was already like taken care of. My bad.
I was just gonna say I
Okay.
love how it's such a meme with the server performance and things randomly exploding. But that's all I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
See, the server performance now protects the traders. If they fix the server performance, the dragonfly would be, the king boarder.
Right? Oh, I love the Dragonfly too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's the
Yeah,
Harley
I want
Davidson
it to be
of
good.
space bikes.
Yeah. Oh,
You know what I'm saying? It's like the
Yeah.
chopper.
Here's a question from Zari. He says, when Pyro comes out, are you wanting to avoid it completely, excited for potential trade profits or potential profits for trading, or something else?
oh, I will be
Not.
there.
Mm-hmm.
I will
Yeah,
probably be the
I
first
could have.
person pirated in Pyro. I
Yeah, I believe it too.
100%.
Yeah,
You could always just like
you
hire
are
us,
looking.
and
It
just like,
sounds to me like you're looking for risk too, though. You enjoy the
Yeah,
risk.
yep.
I mean,
And,
like risk it for the biscuit. It's fun. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because the thing is, like, I could tell you guys the stories like, oh yeah, I traded some titanium, I made some money, and nothing happened. Wow, what a cool story. Or the time that I lost 1.4 million fist fighting a pirate on top of my caterpillar. Like,
yeah.
did I profit from
Or
it? No, but that was
or
fun.
or the time you did it, you got away successfully, but there was an attempt and it was like super close. Like all that stuff is really cool situations that I don't care
Yeah.
what anyone says, even the people who don't want that, when they end up in a situation like that and they get away, I'm sure they're pumped full of adrenaline. Like I'm sure they're like,
Oh yeah.
that was freaking awesome. Like I just got away with that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they probably walk away feeling like a badass, even if they
Yeah,
didn't want
like
the interaction.
exactly. Like, I got suicide rammed by an eclipse the other day. Dumped 3 torpedoes, missed them all, then goes for the ram and just, puts into the side of a caterpillar.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what were you doing, my guy? Like,
Yeah, I wonder what the thought. I mean, first mistake using something that has a slower torque than the actual caterpillar itself, right?
yeah, exactly.
That's not the case actually, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I moved to the left and it exited the area.
Mm-hmm.
But
All
yeah,
right.
no, like, the
Yeah.
profit is nice. I enjoy the profit, but I'm really here for the good times.
Here's a good question. What's keeping you from hovering and having your assistant help by loading the cargo with their tractor? But conversely, what's going to keep people from tractoring your boxes from you?
No, that's actually an excellent strategy. That was the one I was going to bring up. Like, there's going to be a
Yep.
lot of hover traders who, like, once they pull the cargo up, hover the ship.
Yep.
Because that's an excellent thing to do. Now, there's nothing keeping other people from tractoring the boxes from you. Like, once it's on your ship, it's locked. You're good. But they can just
Yeah.
take it from the freight elevator. And right now, the profits aren't good enough to make up for people vulturing even a few boxes.
Yep.
So, like, if I've got someone who's parasiting boxes off while I'm loading up, that's a profit loss for me. And they're really gonna have to work on that, because that might kill trading in 324 if that starts happening a lot. But yeah, like, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. That is an excellent tactic. That was actually what I was going to bring up. Because Caterpillar, you don't have to worry about it. Other ships, yeah, like C2, all those, anything with a ramp, hover.
What is that? I'm sorry.
What
That was
is
just-
that cup?
Yeah,
What
no,
is
bring that
that
back
cup?
up. Don't put that
Hold
away. I
on,
want to
no,
see
no,
that.
yeah,
I
bring
want
it
to
What
see
is
that.
the
Bring it
problem,
back.
man? What do you
Bring it
guys?
back.
I'm just trying to take
Here,
a sip.
okay, show off your mug. Show off your mug. I'll show off mine. I've got a Drake one. Welcome to the gun show. I was wondering what that said.
Hold
You're
on.
like,
Your Drake cup still works?
Yeah, it's no duct tape either, so it's in good condition.
It's
I
made
only
of duct
use-
tape. Of course, it
Did,
still works.
did yours like break off at the handle?
Yeah, the
By any
handle
chance?
broke before I ever used it. Like I kept pins in it, and literally the handle fell off on the desk.
Yep.
Wasn't even holding it.
That's not surprising. I mean, a lot of their like merch is a little bit like cheap, so it has a
Yeah.
tendency of falling apart.
Just want to throw it down
yeah.
once more, guys. If anybody wants to join the call, please jump into the server
Yep.
and then join the waiting room.
And it is under that link right there, under our Discord. If you just hop into the waiting room, we'll take live callers. I'm going to move on to the next question while we're kind of, switching over. Do you think that Blockade Runner, or do you think the Blockade Runner event does a good job of balancing PvE and PvP together?
Kind of. Like I feel like it's a recycled version of the first phase of Xenothreat.
Yep.
Which I mean, it's reskinned, and that's fine. Reuse whatever you can. I think it does okay with the blending, but the problem is PvPers will always be better than I feel like the PvE enemies in Star Citizen. And even with master modes the way it is, a lot of people doing that PvE part of it are not going to be ready when the PvPers come in.
Yeah.
Like, it's very hard for them to assess the situation and fight back. But there's a lot more support in place for the PvEers as well. It just... I feel like there's more profit, because like the people doing the PvP aren't really going to be concerned with the profit. Like, if anything, it's going to be the salt. You actually have a legitimate mission to kill people.
Yeah, and that's part of one of the problems of why the PvP and griefing is such an issue, is because there's no incentive for us to really make money to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when we do pirating, it's just for the thrill, the fun of it, right? But it's like,
Exactly.
honestly, how many times have we done pirating in the org, right? Dead, and then he'd be like, who wants a split of the money? And like half the people are like, yeah, you can keep it. We don't care. Like,
Yeah,
it's not even actually about the money, because it doesn't really amount to a whole lot. So that's part
It's
of
because
the
it
problem.
has no value at the moment too. That's the biggest issue, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no proper expenses. A good example, I know we went back to Elite last time, but if you lose your ship or components, you're in a rough spot.
Yeah.
Like, you can get into the negative, which I kind of wish that Star would actually take into consideration. There's no scarcity, nothing like that. But that's another conversation probably for another time. We've even had that conversation.
A missile costs less than a t-shirt.
Missile costs less than a torpedo burrito, right?
Yeah,
We're about the same?
exactly.
It's
It doesn't make
crazy.
any sense.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. So they are implementing, though, like rare components soon, right? Is that's gonna be such
yeah, I
a
heard
risk
about
with,
that.
was
with the server performance, though. It's like it's gonna be so easy to just lose them. I mean, it's not. I don't
Yeah.
feel like it's a good time to do that, considering that's the problem. It's like we want the economy, but is it even viable to have an economy with the way server is to begin with? You know what I mean? Like, to have a real economy, it's like the risk of loss shouldn't be in the server performance. It should be the risk of loss is in gameplay. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I feel like that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes back to that, asking for server stability and improved mechanics versus new ones. Yeah, fix game over add content. That's it.
That was
Well,
actually what won the poll, by the way.
Yeah.
Fix the current
By, like,
did it?
more
60 something.
stability. I honestly think people put like new content as like a meme, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. With that being said, do you guys want to read some salt on Spectrum really quick?
Yes.
All right.
All right,
Yes.
I'll jump over there. Push it through when you get the chance. I was already
It
pushed
is good to
You're
go. So here's the whole post. I posted this earlier. Actually, this is now copy pasta in our Discord, and I'm so happy with it.
Stupid
so
copy pastas. Ugh. can't
So
stand
it
them.
says, is shooting down unprepared players doing the PvE event griefing or PvP? I love that he misspelled griefing. That's the best part. I don't know why, but
Maybe
that
that's how
whole
he
thing.
meant to spell it, and he's griefing us by
Listen,
misspelling
I
griefing.
thought, okay, so when I first saw this, I thought it was all a joke. I thought it was like, a whole meme. And then it kept going on, and he brings up a bunch of like points that I've heard. Like it's almost like, a ton of broken records. First, it was Xenothread, and now at Blockade Runner, players are targeting players who are unprepared and doing the PvE event and are not prepared for PvP. So they clearly stated during ISC, it's even on the page, this is a mix of PvE and PvP, because on the unlawful side or unverified contracts, you can see a delivery contract for this event. So it's valid, I guess. I don't know if we really have a place to complain at that point, With Jumptown, it's very clear. It's a PvP event. If you go to Jumptown, you want to do PvP. If you do Xenothread or Blockade Runner, you want to do PvE. Making fun of PvE events by shooting down PvE players who load or unload ships, for example, is really bad, and nothing is being done about it by CAG. There are no mechanics to prevent this except PvE and PvP servers, or as in World of Warcraft, the possibility to flag yourself PvP and PvE. Man, I don't know if I want to keep reading this. This is kind of PTSD from some other.
Hold on, no, this is the most important part. I got this. I
CIG
sincerely
wants to
beg.
try Reputation. At some point, but by then many will have turned away from the game due to reckless play. You can read this last part. You seem like you really wanted to.
Well, this is the most important part. I sincerely beg CIG to think about this issue. Bugs that can't be fixed are one thing, but being helplessly shot at by malicious griefers is another.
I like that the malicious is a good use there.
Malicious griefers.
Malicious griefers.
Malicious is used very well here.
It sounds like a political campaign almost. You're just like, don't trust the
I feel like
griefers.
this part is reverse psychology. They're trying to trick them into responding. I know you won't respond, but please read it anyway and give it some thought. Thank you for the game of my dreams. Don't let it be ruined because of such killjoys. It's not, I'm sorry, but it's this problem isn't going to kill the game, because honestly, the game's been super successful this whole time with this problem. So I don't think it's going to kill the game. And even though you may not realize it, I think they secretly enjoy it. So guys, let's do them a service and make sure we continue to grief these events.
It makes me think of the one night when people in, I think it was Global, were saying, if we don't do the event, they won't have anything to shoot at.
Oh yeah,
like, what is?
Yeah,
you
that was
remember
great.
That? You remember
Yeah,
that? It was interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I got it right here. Hold on, guys. This is the. It was under salt. Yeah, under the salt font.
Oh, you have it? Yeah, go ahead and bring that up.
Hold on. Hold on. I want to know who's bringing up New World.
So this is Captain Kilgore. He said you got it backward. New World was designed through the development to be a PvP game. This is true. Then Amazon caved to a vocal minority last minute before launch and made PvP optional, which the game had not been designed for. Then it flopped. It didn't flop because of PvP, but because of lack of PvP. Dual universe, same deal. Starbase, same deal.
Hold on now. Are we not going to bring up the fact that New World had such heavy taxes that it actually deflated the in-game economy?
I don't know anything about it. I never played it, honestly.
I played like the
when it came out, my computer wouldn't even be able to play it anyway at the time.
Well, you could actually PvP with the tax system. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if it was just the PvP itself, but I did New World when it dropped, and it got to the point where every single, like, it was a 100% Eve style economy, but the tax system made it so bad that the price of everything basically dropped to a penny, and no one could actually make any money. And with a 25% tax rate that everybody put in every single city, it just flopped. So I don't know if just the combat was on that one.
So, by the way, this was the quote. Just refuse to play the event if there are people griefing. They won't have anything to do, and eventually CIG will get the hint that we don't want to PvP. I also want to jump into this comment right here, by the way. That was what in-game salt. That's what that was. That was great.
Yep. What comment though?
You know, after I think we killed him. This comment here: PvP without PvE players just does not exist. Every PvP-oriented game proved that. You get a very limited player base and certainly not an MMO. Okay. So I want to jump on that comment. I agree. I mean, I agree. And we're certainly not saying that we need to remove PvE players at all. But
No.
I believe the opposite is also true, because even those that don't want to admit it, the game can get rather stale, especially in a game that's kind of meant for those mechanics. And even if this game didn't allow PvP, Chris Roberts would want the AI to be able to do what the PvP players are doing, realistically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Elite has the same thing.
Yeah, and so here's my last argument to that too. I just want to throw out there. The one thing I do see is that longevity comes from the PvP players that has depth of gameplay, right? And obviously this isn't true to all games, but look at Eve, and look at Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous. A lot of the players that are still sticking around are the ones that enjoy doing the PvP and building the ships to counter each other and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think, but I agree. I think it needs, we both need each other. We really do. You know, I believe I don't want PvE players to go away, but I certainly want them to stop complaining like everything should be a cakewalk. No, it's supposed to be difficult. Sorry.
People need to understand that it is a part of the game. Yeah.
You need bad guys.
And if
You
we're,
need
yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
and if we're not, yeah, if it's not us that are the bad guys, he's gonna make AI the bad guys. So
yeah, like
you
for lack of a better word, you need the bad guys. Like you need the dangerous person who PvPs the PvEer on occasion to make some sort of friction, to cause change, to rise up, to rally your other PvEers to do just well enough to fight them off.
yeah.
Like
We
you
do have,
need. Go ahead.
Do you have a caller? We have
yeah,
two
we have
callers.
two
Yeah.
callers. By the way.
Oh.
Can we take those in? Are you ready for that, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Do we know
timer.
who queued in first? We don't actually have a queue system. So
I
I'm going to bring
don't.
in Flaro. So,
Okay. Yeah.
hey, Flaro, what's up? Do you have a question
Hey,
for
how's it
the
going?
podcast? It's good to see you, dude. Welcome.
Hey, this guy here. Hey there.
Hey, this guy, dude.
Hey there. Sure.
No,
Sorry.
bro. No, you're good, bro. No, you guys were talking about 324, and like, it really just like I think 5 days ago just hit me about the current state of the game. Do you guys remember the last time we had fun in this game? What was it like? What 316, 317, before the whole 318 crap, and then like now the persistent hangers like stalling all like the fun stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah.
we're at a point where CAG needs to push this tech out as much as it sucks, because now we're getting lack of content, but they need to push this stuff to make the game work eventually. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like the whole idea of PES, persistent entity streaming, where things will be remembered around the map. The whole idea of, I mean, even back when 3.3 came out, right? Without network bind calling and object container streaming, like planets
yes.
like you know, planets like Hurston, Microtech, what else is there? Crusader, even Crusader itself, and ArcCorp would not exist without that tech. And during that period of time with the 3.3, I remember like it was dead. Like 3.0 was absolute dog shit with like how bad the frame rates were. But when Hurston first came out with that tech, it was, you know, the content started flowing. And now, you know, because we have all those planets, now the content is dead. Now we want more, but they cannot achieve more until they bring in that new tech. So the point I'm trying to make is we're at like, I feel like we're at that stage where, for those of who have played like, you know, 3.0 and like 3.3 and beyond, like I feel like we're at that stage where we are at that lack of content, even though we are, you know, SE in general is lack of content, but
Yep.
we're just at a big waiting phase for like even more shit to come online and work properly. Because again, you know, the thing that we'll categorize an MMO, right? I mean, one of them is server meshing, 1,000 people, not 100 people in a server, but 1,000 people. and that
Yeah.
is and clearly that is taking some time. And funny thing is, server meshing was on the roadmap for 3.4, and how many years have it been delayed ever since? And now we're getting it.
Yeah, it's just because they haven't been able to obtain it so far, I guess, right?
Yeah, and another thing like is I wish they if they're gonna focus on tech stuff, I wish they prioritize the bug fixing, but they're prioritizing stuff like the blockade runner event, which again, when it comes online, the servers are gonna shit itself.
Oh yeah.
They're prioritizing.
Oh yeah, I
things,
can't wait for that, man.
yeah, like they're prioritizing things that are for the market, like how to get new players into the game, rather than fixing the game.
Which is understandable to an extent. I mean, obviously there has to be some marketability, but the problem is that we end up in this situation, right? And the server's gonna shit itself, and you have free fly event, right? And people are gonna come in and be like, this game's not ready for me to play it.
Yeah, like they've been like throughout the years I've been playing it, like they have fixed bugs, but they still focused on Star Citizen focuses on cool overplayability. That's what I've been saying for many years.
Not even always though. Like, okay, an example. How long were elevators an issue? Right?
Forever.
Now,
Why are you saying past tense?
yeah,
still
well,
an
because
issue,
they
yeah.
definitely
Right.
do work better now, though. I mean, but yeah, good
It depends
point.
on the health
But-
of the server, though.
But my
Yeah.
point is to be, why do the elevators that you will never I'm talking about the elevators that, like, you go to your hangar or whatever, that nobody outside of that elevator will ever have contact with. Why do they have to follow an actual track? Why can't the doors close and it simulates time between, and then it puts you in the next spot? Like, why did it actually have to? I think that's part of the problem, is like having to transport you in the elevator, right? That's why you had things like you got flung into space randomly and stuff like that. Like, it seems to me like it's all about just being able to say it actually follows the elevator track. Like, it's just about saying it, but nobody sees it or really cares, I think. Right? It's cool to say,
Yeah.
but it created more issues than it was cool, I think, personally.
I think we just need stairs to like die on, personally. Just it's like old DayZ, when you go down a staircase, you die from like fall damage, and stuff like that would be.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the elevators right now are a connection to your persistent hangar. I mean, that's what they are right now. They just take you to your own personal thing.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong, bro. Like, I mean, they've been broken for like forever. I mean, they still are an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flyer, do you think they should just bring back hover mode for the flight model? I think we're missing that.
Yeah, bro, oh my god.
I don't know anything about hover mode. I haven't been around long enough. You guys are always laughing about it.
Dude, oh my. Okay,
Hover
my
mode
opinion,
was
it sucked. Sucked.
I used to land the Caterpillar over 100 meters per second into a hangar just to avoid hover mode.
Fuck, dude. Do you remember when they brought like in what patch was this? Like 3.
It was 3.6 for hover mode.
No. There was like a not for hover mode, but when you want to land in your in the city, it brings up like these rectangles like in the sky
splines, yes.
Yeah, that shit was bullshit. They
I
got
knew-
rid of it.
Sorry,
Pretty
I knew
quick.
Freedom was gonna get
After that.
triggered by the hover mode comment. That's great. You got everybody does. All right, I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, Flaro, is there anything else that you had wanted to add to that, or do you
I just think
have
like
any questions?
like my personal opinion about the game right now, it's cool that we're getting this tech, and I just for God's sakes I hope it works down the line. But it's still so shitty right now that with all these bugs and like lack of content, even though the game always had lack of content, but it just the point I'm trying to make, just like it's just unplayable. You know what I mean? Like, it's not fun when somebody's just teleporting when you shoot them, and then like they shoot back at you, and it's like all desyncy.
Are we talking FPS or like in the air? I mean both at this rate, right?
Both at this
Yeah,
rate.
it's both. Yeah.
So
That's all I got,
I'm with you 100%. I think a lot of us are kind of feeling the same thing, and it's rough because we want this project to succeed and actually attain those goals with, like, say, server meshing or being like a proper space sim. But it feels like everything that they've been doing has been solely
Yeah.
for like funding and marketing, and there's no like proper vision or like direction for development for a long time. It feels like from leadership.
Yeah.
You know.
What I will say though, even if the tech works and the game is functioning,
Yep.
at the end of the day, bro, it's gonna be that content that comes out and like what drives the game. Like
Yep.
if you player base economy, right? Like if you have NPCs fucking running the economy, bro. Wow, crazy, dude.
Hey, that's
so
what I want.
No, bro, I want player, man. Player driven economy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, right now it's 100% player driven.
I've never. Is it actually like I've never like personally like seen like how does it work? You
Okay.
Yeah. Go
So,
ahead, Jack. Let's hear it.
Quick rundown. So you've got supply and demand for every place and a refresh rate. So let's say a place has 100 SCU maximum of titanium, and the refresh is 30. If you buy 50 on the next refresh, it refreshes 30. So on all other servers across the world, it would technically minus 20 from the stock. And that's across all servers in all regions. So basically, you are always competing with other people, and it just refreshes the amount that they buy and sell, adds that together, and puts out the difference every 10 minutes for every single commodity at every single location. That's why RMC is permanently full wherever you go, because people are always dumping RMC as much as they can, and the refresh does not keep up with it. Because
But
it is the same static refresh, and everyone. Like, now I know, like, if we're looking for like an Eve style 100% economy, but like right now there is nothing else in the economy that actually attributes to numbers.
Yeah, I was gonna say
players.
like do players like because for me like a player driven economy is where players influence the numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which
Like if there's something like a player brings into the market, like for example, I don't know, like it could be like they buy let's say you get a component from the consensus zone in Pyro that's like unobtainable anywhere else. You can only get it in the Pyro consensus zones. You bring that onto the market. It's gonna cost a lot, right?
yeah,
'Cause it's
like
like a rare
if you look
value.
at like Eve style, where it is everything is produced as well, then oh god, I would be for that. Be like right now, like as much as they talk about quantum, the entire system we have is just if there's anything that deviates, it is because a player bought or sold it,
Yeah.
and then eventually it just goes back down to a baseline.
Damn, bro. Hopium,
Yeah.
guys, right? We shall see. When we
Yeah,
really
we've only
want
been-
it.
There's a lot of that.
I was
Yeah.
gonna
We've only
say
been
thank you
waiting
very
5 or
much,
6 years.
Thank you very much, Flero, for popping in. It was nice
No, of
chatting,
course.
dude.
Thank you for letting me vent.
Absolutely. No, I think everybody needs it. So feel free if you ever need to do that, just pop into VC. You're always welcome to.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. Hope you guys have a good one.
See you, bud.
Later, brother.
All right, we're gonna pull in our next caller, which is Kelbic. I hope I said that right. Hey, welcome on in. Did you have a question?
Yeah, hold on one sec, my mute. All right. Well, not so much a question, more so you guys pulled up the comment about well, that salt.
Yep.
And it was interesting because I see this game going very much in the direction of EVE Online, and I really hope it continues going in that direction. I think we all hope it goes in that direction. And for the record, I have a large amount of history in EVE Online, and so I like to be able to take that knowledge and use it here. That being said, the salt that they were throwing out there was an EVE Online suggestion in their forums one time where someone said that there should be a flag for PvP button. All right.
Such a
everyone
common
knows
suggestion.
right? Exactly. Flag for PvP. One of the devs actually responded to it, and it was beautiful. I don't think it exists anymore. I think it was probably erased, or maybe it fell out of archive or whatever. But
yeah,
the dev responds, and it says there is one. There is a flag for PvP button. It's called undock.
I don't get it.
That's
I don't
actually the moment you undock, you are not safe.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
The moment
All
you
right.
undock,
Yep.
The moment you leave the safety of your hangar, you are flagged for PvP. Basically, they're saying
That's
anytime
great,
you enter the game world, you can be affected by another player. And that is exactly the mentality you need for this game.
100%. Yeah.
I run an org that we like logistics, we like industry, we also like to shoot stuff. I mean, we never specify what our industry is, but
Mhm.
sometimes we take the parts from other people.
Wait, now when you say parts, are you talking people parts or?
Maybe.
There was a pause there that I'm not comfortable
I know.
with. Continue.
I rather not specify. I like to keep industry vague for the time being.
Well,
Mhm.
incidentally, I'm in the market for a couple of kidneys.
But in all seriousness, 324, it's going to be. This patch is really just a time sink. That is the majority of the content of this patch is just to add more time into every player's day-to-day life, and
Yeah.
it is an absolute shit show in my personal opinion. The only real core tech that this patch really brings is personal hangers. I think that's what the one thing that everyone I think can agree on, because it's the very first place you can call home. I mean, it's one thing to call a landing zone home. I'm out of Area
Yeah,
18.
that's
I'm
a
out of
good point.
Orison. But
Yeah.
now you have your own hangar where you can put your own stuff out. You
Yeah.
can move your vehicles around. You can fit up your ships. You can load your ground vehicles into your larger ships, all within the safety of your hangar. Like, you don't have to go somewhere and be exposed to the elements to do all this stuff.
Mhm.
But that said, um, I think that logistics 324, the things that they're adding in, kind of to go off of what Pharaoh kind of mentioned, was that they're adding in mechanics that are going to be essential down the road, and logistics is going to be very much essential.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
just going to be one of the steps in the cycle of life. An industrialist miner is going to go out and get material. That material is going to be refined and turned into an SCU box. That SCU box has to go somewhere, so logistics comes into play. Someone's going to buy that off the market, whether it be player driven or from an NPC. Makes no difference. But now we have a physical cargo. Now logistics is essential. Now that cargo is going to go somewhere. Is it going to go to build a base? Is it going to go to build a ship? Who knows? But it's just one step in that entire cycle, because that ship, if they build it, it's going to go out, it's going to fight, it's going to die, it's going to get salvaged, it's going to turn into something else. It's that something else is going to go out, fight, die, and logistics is at the heart of all of that.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Do you feel like 3.24 is going to be enough to bring in some? I don't know how active your org has been during like 3.23, but do you think it's going to
It's
be
been a
enough to
struggle.
maybe? You think it's yeah. I know everybody's feeling it too. Like, it's like full transparency. Do you think it's going to be enough to, like, say blockade runner drops? Do you think it's going to be enough to bring your guys in for like a couple nights or maybe like a full patch for a little bit, or do you think it's just going to be it's just another update and then no wait for
I feel
4.0?
like full patch would
Well,
be a stretch, to be honest.
I feel that this is just the same as any other patch, right? So every patch, every major patch we get, so every increment in the patch number, it brings people back. But the question is how long, right? So you're going to get, for my org, I'm probably going to get like 10 people come back. And, those 10 people will be like, yeah, I'm going to be back for the entire of 324. And I'm really just going to buckle down and get back into it. And, 2, maybe 3 weeks later, 4, who knows, maybe they last 2
There's some
months,
sort
but
of burnout.
eventually they're going to go inactive again. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think, though, I want to jump on that too, and it feels to me, since I started playing a little over 3 to 4 years ago, that we've always had this issue where it would die down throughout the patch cycle and it would pick back up at the new patch. But it feels to me that it's becoming, there's less longevity in every patch now, where people are jumping back in, but for a much smaller amount of time now. Like, they're just getting bored very quickly at this point. And it
I
feels
believe
like it's
that.
a worse issue now than it used to be. From my perspective, that's the way it seems.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and that goes back to what you guys were talking about earlier. You guys were talking about stability, server stability over content. And while content is absolutely necessary to attract new people, the stability is what keeps the old people. Because we like what we have currently. Yeah, we all want more, but we also like to be able to get on and consistently play it without issue. For instance, one bug can be the result of 30 minutes to an hour of ruined game time. And you can define ruined game time however you want, but you're going to spend an extra hour of time redoing whatever you did to get to that last point where the bug affected you.
Yeah, it's like leaves a bad taste in your mouth too, because
Yeah.
it's like, so from past experiences where I would have, like, I logged into the game and lost essentially like a half hour to an hour just to actually play the game. It's like now the moment I log in and it's like I can't get out of my bed. I don't even want to bother. It's like at this point I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. You know what I mean? Let me log out of this. Like I feel like it is so much of that. This is why I was saying, like, even though Nick's made a good point that this, like, the game does have, it is kind of boring. There's not a whole lot to do, but at the same time, it's like it's probably boring because a lot of people don't even want to be in the game to begin with. Plus, you get the smaller servers of only 100 people, right, in a rather large area. But yeah, I mean that's why I want the stability, because it's like I want to know I can log in and at least play, even if there's not a whole lot of content within the verse. I want to know that I'm not going to burn, a half hour just trying to get to my ship when there's going to be some weird bug or something.
Yeah. And to be honest, the real value of this game, well, first off, let me go back and clarify your point about what Nick said, that there's not much to do in the game, and I would disagree. I would say that there's plenty to do in the game. I think that there is a crap ton to do in the game. The problem is it's all in one solar system. The problem is that we've all done it so many times, and we've jumped from loop to loop to loop,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
it all
Yeah.
feels played out to us.
Yeah.
We've done it over and over so much that it doesn't feel like an option to do anymore. So to us, in our mind, there's not a lot to do because we've already done it. But all the other guys jumping and all the brand new players, I get my joy from actually teaching new players about the game. So
Oh, yes,
I bring in a new
that's
player. During these free flies, I'll bring in some players. I'll teach them the ropes. Sometimes they don't make it. Sometimes they just don't have the skin required to survive in the verse, or even within my org. Like, we have some pretty thick-skinned people, and sometimes some wildly inappropriate and offensive stuff gets said, and it hurts people. A shame. But then they
Yeah.
leave, and it's not a shame anymore. But that's that's besides the point. Um,
Was there
the
anything else that you wanted to add to that? I'm sorry, we're just kind of cutting it close to our time here.
oh yeah, no worries. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Where was I? I got off track. The no, thought's gone. Sorry.
Apologies.
Wave as it
That
goes
was my
by.
bad. Sorry to put you
No,
on
you're
like
fine.
the pressure there.
You're fine. But no, going back to the 324 stuff, it's like they said, it's core stuff. It's stuff that's coming in at the moment. It feels like a time sink. It's gonna add a lot more difficulty. It's gonna change how things happen in the verse, how pirates and logistics pilots operate. It could potentially be good, but ultimately it's gonna feel worse before people realize that there are some pros to it. People are just like master modes. People are finally getting used to master modes. Not everyone's, even those that have gotten used to it, no one likes it still, and that's fine. It's gonna change. I'm here for the long haul. Those that have stuck around are here for the long haul. We all see it, but this is just another implementation where we will see its actual effect down the road.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kelpic, by the way, for calling in. We really do appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you so much, man.
And no worries.
A lot of good points too.
Mm-hmm. And then we had one more caller. We had Saint Nix from Shadow Moses. Hey, what's up, Nix? How you doing?
What's
Yo.
up? I had a question for Jack. I used to watch all your state of trade videos way back, you know, partly to trade and partly to pirate, right?
Oh
And
yeah, thank you.
yeah, and what was interesting about that was it was always changing. You know, even
Yeah.
though the game was simpler back then,
Yeah,
the game was
that's the thing.
simpler and it was always interesting, even though we didn't have physicalized cargo, we didn't have as many locations, we didn't have as many commodities,
Hmm.
and yet trade was still interesting. And it's
Yeah.
like, and so we think about a lot of times thinking about into the future of quantum and pyro and all these various different things. But my question would be, since you have a good understanding of the economy and trade, if you were to, let's say, take the reins completely of the economy, CIG just let you control the economy for 324, how
Oh
would you
God.
actually make it interesting to trade, to pirate, to do all of these activities that used to be a lot of fun in the current game without adding new content and without maybe some minor bug fixes, things like that. But, you know, I really don't know much about trading anymore because nobody does it. You know, it's like,
Yeah, like well, it's so static now. Like you have. I mean, it was almost kind of static back then, but honestly, what I would do, change it every week. Every week, throw around the numbers. So it's like RMC is dead. Everyone's moving titanium, and if I have to put a stupid lore reason in because ArcCorp is building new ships or whatever, something that makes it to where suddenly, if you want to keep up with the good money, you have to change your routes because right now we just have the static. You can run the regular things. You can run gold for a bit of risk and a bit of profit, or you could do RMC for a lot of risk, a lot of profit. If you just change that up, where you have to keep changing and keep things fresh. Yeah, basically like community goals in Elite, like what Carl said. Like,
It's a good
but
way to put
all
it. Yeah.
of them. So like even the soft routes. So like if someone who's been doing I don't know iodine because it's safe and they haven't kept up with the new changes and they don't realize they're suddenly doing the big thing and they get hit by a pirate and they have to learn, oh, maybe I should stop doing iodine and go to something that's safe now. Like if we could just change it every week or two so it's not so static. And really it's just changing where you go. But it means you have to pay attention as things progress and move to different locations because it changes
So like
routes,
making it more
changes
dynamic.
traffic. Yeah. And like all you have to do is just have a spreadsheet and throw the cells around. That's all you got to do. Like, I mean, if you want to really care about it, manually adjust some of the numbers. But I mean, an
Yeah.
intern could do that in 10 minutes.
what would you say would be good, um, like profit margins, buy-ins, maybe even some specific trade routes that you would like to see CIG actually bring up again? You know, maybe some more some more dangerous ones, some safer ones, maybe some like specific examples of what they could actually do to make, you know, 324 actually fun for a cargo hauler.
Well, it's funny. They took out all the trade locations that were outside of Armistice except RMC. Because like
Mm-hmm.
you have places like Benson or Shady Glen Farms, no Armistice zone, and the trade at those locations has never been super great. But I feel like they could have really capitalized on something there and made those locations high risk, high reward. Like there's no Armistice. Benson is particularly hard to land at, but hey, if you can do it, you could actually make some profit. Unfortunately, they have actually taken out not only all the trade terminals at those locations, but all the trade terminals for drug labs. Like you literally cannot buy
Wow,
drugs right now. Like the entire drug economy is gone. So
They swapped it out to
that's
the
unbelievable.
Jumptown locations like Paradise Cove and all that now.
yeah, do they actually have like the freight elevators though?
Yeah, they do.
I haven't seen it since I haven't been back in. I've been doing the hauling testing so I can give the feedback on it.
Yeah, but locations like you said, like Nguyen and all of the drug labs just don't have anything there anymore. There's no trade terminal at those locations. They just restructured how that looks entirely.
Cool.
You
Yeah.
don't work, Jack. You don't work for CIG, right?
No, I have a CIG jacket that I like to wear sometimes when being interviewed to troll people.
It just feels
Um,
like non-employees seem to really understand how to make things like economy work. I'm sorry, is that
Well,
out of pocket there? I don't.
I don't think it's out of pocket. Like, at the same time, like, I don't know if they hire economists. And I'm definitely not an economist. But the thing is, sometimes when you do it for a job versus when you do it out of passion, um, that might change how things go. Now, they might also have tons of other plans because I'm not going to say that I know more than CIG because sometimes they also have to stay, buttoned up and tight-lipped. So if anyone from CIG is listening in, I'm not saying that I know more of you. I can say whatever I want, and you guys probably have a legal department that says you can only say so much. So maybe you've got something planned. I don't know. I would like to see stuff changed up, but
I feel like
that's
there's a
how I
lot
feel.
planned. I don't know about delivery.
Well, the thing about trade, it doesn't sell on a trailer. Like you take shooting something. That's cool. That sells ships. Taking Space Truck Simulator doesn't sell ships. Like, that's not a cool trailer to watch. I'm sure they could make it cool, but even the freelancer commercial had to get shot by a cutlass to make it interesting. And actually, you know what? The whole sea commercial still had combat. Like, that's the thing. Like, combat sells, and I know we keep making fun of CIG not being able to get away from combat, but combat really does sell, and I feel like they don't really focus on it because it doesn't sell that well.
Okay. Nix, did you have anything else that you want to ask to
Yeah.
Jack, or anything that you want to add?
What about specific bugs? So I know, I know in PvP there are all these different bugs we complain about all the time. We're always pinging the devs, please fix it, please fix it. But I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
really hear that much anymore. I mean, nobody even trades. So what specific bugs are like completely crippling the economy right now? Are there any like top of the list that just ruin it?
There's a few for 324 that I really hope they fix soon. There's a lot of issues with freight elevators where they get stuck on loading contents where you cannot purchase or sell.
Yep.
So you might show up to a place and the whole freight elevator is locked. You can't sell there, and you basically have to hop servers. Wouldn't really count it as a bug, but people abandoning ships right in front of the freight elevator, so you can't even use it, or you have to travel 30 meters with your, say 30, like 100 meters with your tractor beam across the armistice zone to sell stuff. Caterpillar has a super fun bug where about 100 SCU of the grid does not work.
Mm-hmm.
So you either have to loose load boxes or carry like half your cargo. And I know everyone's all about the C2, but
Yeah.
Also, freelancer can't hold like 12 or 20 SCU because of the center area. Carrick, you can't even load cargo to, which Carrick is still going to be going on the old platform of auto buy because
That's
the
amazing.
lifts don't
There's
work.
nothing else you can do with it. Yeah,
It's
it just doesn't
amazing
work.
with the Carrick for me, the fact that they still haven't worked out those like bay doors or whatever the hell you want to call them.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of silly, especially right with physicalized cargo now. Like it's worthless.
Like, okay, like I'm gonna go off on a weird tangent here. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the ship showdown, but you see all these people saying like, vote for this, the ship gets attention. The Caterpillar won Best in Show, the original one back in 2019, and
no reworks.
Yeah,
No
they've done shit all with it. They added tractor beams in the worst possible location. The tractor beams on the Caterpillar are so close to it they can't even see into the cargo bay. So
do you remember,
can't even,
Jack, when getting onto the tractor beam would just make your character spin in like this frenzy?
Your
oh yeah,
spine would fold in on itself.
No, spin. What happens is literally your head goes straight up your own ass.
You see the universe and then come back.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
you go straight into the black hole. We'll say.
Yeah, no, I've been there. I have unfortunately been there. But yeah, no, like they added the worst possible location for the tractor beams, and you can't even see into the cargo modules. You can't even load your own cargo. So yeah, no, I feel like this whole like, oh, vote for this so it gets attention. It's like, that ain't how this works. That ain't how this works. The Reclaimer's not going to see a rework for forever. all these other things aren't going to see this rework. You don't know how.
Reclaimer won Best in Show as well, so see how
Yeah,
that'll work.
exactly.
I mean, how many years until we saw salvage after the fact too, right?
Oh yeah, that was
So-
supposed to be like what 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're
And they
stuck
push
in
that
this
back.
situation though where they don't get this extra attention because it doesn't really pull in all that much money, if any at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're
Yeah.
stuck
It's a
in
low
this
priority- low
situation
priority.
where they don't want to go back and touch it because they'd rather be working on like the new racing variant that we're all gonna get that we're so excited about. You know what I mean?
mean-
But the funding model is going to prioritize new ships for sales.
Yeah. I
Realistically.
mean, like, look at the Ironclad. The Ironclad is literally what the Caterpillar should have been. I mean, it's literally a Caterpillar with a double wide mobile home sandwiched on either side.
Yep.
Like,
I am interested to see what they're going to need to pay attention to once they actually complete it, and people are going to be
Yeah.
begging for that to be fixed.
Yep.
yeah, because like all the ships we have right now were designed long before their gameplay came online, and
Mm-hmm.
also again with hauling, another thing I would pull up. If you guys have messed around with the personal elevators or the freight elevators inside the hangars, the elevators are on the left and right. 95% of ships load from the back. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I've seen a semi truck pull up to a warehouse, they don't pull up at a
Straight to the back.
90-degree angle.
Nope.
It's straight back, straight back to the elevator or the cargo place, the forklift dispenser, whatever you want to call it. Like, why are we designing these things after the fact? Like, let's. I know it's going to take a lot of money and man
Yeah.
hours, but you've got to design things for the gameplay, not gameplay around the ships.
Call.
I was gonna say, Nix again. Thanks for calling in, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
You
Yeah,
know,
no
chatting.
Seriously,
It's always nice.
call in
Thanks.
anytime,
you know.
man. It's great to hear from
Absolutely.
you.
Mhm.
I wanted to hear I wanted to hear some answers on trading. It's not talked about ever. There's no
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no one talks about it. Like no one. since State of Trade, I don't think I've seen any updates on it on YouTube or anything.
No, I
Mhm.
believe me, like I want to do updates with it, but like
There aren't
trade has
any.
become more and more static. That's it. Like there's nothing to update. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing
And-
That's sad,
anymore.
man. I know they have
What-
big plans, but it's sad that it's like that right now.
Yeah.
What would you say was your favorite patch for trading, and how could they make it like could they bring that to 324, or is it impossible now?
I think it would pretty much be impossible, but my favorite patch, and this is going to sound dumb, 3.4. Profits were crap, ultra low, but I would have 4 caterpillars in the air with escorts and interior security. And I have
Yeah, I
not
love
had a group like that since. Like,
And what was it that made that possible, as opposed to now?
honestly, I think people were just more excited for the game.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's
Also,
pretty
like
fair,
ships
yeah.
didn't lock, so like you had to have interior security because people could just walk in. But yeah, people were
Oh,
just
okay,
excited.
yeah.
Things were more fresh.
Mhm.
Like, and even though the profits were like 1 to 2%, like we had a 30K and lost 6.5 million between 4 caterpillars, and I think we were gonna make 200K total.
Yep.
But it was still the best trading gameplay I've ever had.
Was part of that because you could also buy larger quantities of goods before the place you're
Yeah.
buying from just runs out of stock?
Yeah, like you had a 2-minute refresh. So like even if they ran out, you could just wait 2 minutes, get more. And we didn't really care what it was as long as we could get it. And you could actually fill up instead of this whole like, oh no, I'm in an intergalactic system with billions of people, but they have enough stock to keep a 3 red light town barely going.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, 3.12 was especially bad for that when you could buy like
oh god,
medical
yes.
supplies. Couldn't even play
Yeah,
the game.
I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
this now. Bring back hover mode. Everything's fixed. That's all you have to do.
The economy
Right.
wasn't so bad during hover mode.
It was.
All right. Again, thank you, Nix, for stopping by. It was good chatting
Yeah.
with you, bud. You have a good
Yeah, it
night.
was
Okay.
fun.
Have a
Yeah,
good one,
have a
Nick.
good night, boys.
Later, buddy.
All right. With that being said, I want to say, Jack, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It was a blast. Guys, make sure that you do yourself a favor. Go check out JackAxton on YouTube. You also live stream recently, I've seen.
Yes. I 90% of the time, I'm usually doing live streams these days on YouTube, and I think the last one was Tactical Breach Wizards, but most of the time it's Star Citizen.
Right. And then just a reminder that tonight's episode, this is going to be on YouTube tomorrow. Next week, we have quite the show planned. We're going to be talking with Spur from Griefernet. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. But with that being said, if you guys
to that one.
It's going to be fun. With that being said, guys, go check out the YouTube right over there. If you haven't checked out our Discord, links are all there. And we appreciate you guys having us tonight and just keeping us company. Thank you again, Jack. Really appreciate you. You have a lot to bring to, like, you know, Star Citizen as far as like information for like cargo. And it's cool to see that.
CIG, listen to this guy. I mean, I
Absolutely.
think he may potentially know what he's talking about. I think you can get a lot of good ideas from him. Also, if you guys want to continue some of the discussion on what we had talked about tonight, feel free to jump in the Discord, and you'll see under Griefus Pub, the pub. Feel free to continue that discussion there. Obviously, we will be very responsive. But thank you so much. I appreciate. Honestly, it was a good discussion, man.
Hey guys, who are going to go raid before we take off? Do you guys have any recommendations? Preferably someone that's either like PvPing or someone that you guys all know. I see Granny's on. I'm usually like prone to like go that way, so I think we should go raid Granny. Yeah, or Saber Fox RP. Let's do.
Yeah, we'll get to somebody new. Yeah,
let's do that.
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
down for
we'll
it.
have to catch her next time. Is that the spelling? Let me make sure I got that right. That's correct. Okay. With that being said, guys, have a great night, and we will catch you next week. Take care.
Have a good night, guys.